Reclaiming Our Heritage was a multi-area event that happened all on the VA grounds here. It started with the War of 1812 reenactors all the way up into Afghanistan reenactors. And 3-day event all here on the grounds. All our buildings were open, great event. And that's when it started in 2002, and that's when we found Company F, because we do have a Civil War soldier buried in our cemetery, and that's when we started the reenactment group. When the group first started, I wasn't real keen on it because I didn't know a lot, but I had a girlfriend that did reenacting with her family, and talking to her, and she let me borrow her dresses, and I got into it. Now I'm gung-ho. I want to do it. I want to go. I want to dress. I want to dress appropriately. I want my stuff to be right. I want to talk. What I like most about reenacting with Company F is giving the information. I had a lady once ask me, well, how come the ladies didn't stay at home when their men went off to war? And I had to kind of remind her, well, black ladies didn't have a home to go back to. They came off the plantations. So they would pack up their families and they would go. It's the information. It's correcting people and telling them exactly how it was. Company F, United States Colored Troops. We do most of our presentations at schools, senior centers. We don't do many reenactments because our fellows are getting a little older. So we try to go anywhere where we can just pass on information, ask all the questions that you want to ask. We will answer all the questions, just to get the information out so people understand. A lot of people want to call us Buffalo Soldiers, and we have to correct them a lot. No, we came before Buffalo Soldiers. We were their predecessors. Company F was Civil War, which was 1863 to 1865. After the Civil War was over, Cavalry Units 9 and 10 were formed after 1865, and they went out west. That's who fought the Indians. Usually when we go to encampments, we usually have the biggest crowds because a lot of kids have never even seen black soldiers from Civil War. So yes, I think our education is doing good. We try and get out to as many schools as possible. It's wonderful to do the reenactments. They're hard because it means pulling a trailer, setting up tents, breaking down. We do our cooking out there, so it's carrying food. It's a younger man's. Yeah, it's a younger man's event. If we could get younger people more interested to be in our group, to expand it, to carry it on, that would be great. We could always use funding to buy more equipment, not cheap. A rifle can cost $200 to $300, and that's a used one, a replica. Our dresses can cost a couple $100. We do sew and make whatever we can, and we go to thrift stores to buy, a lot of stuff. But our uniforms aren't cheap because they're replicas of the actual things. The similarities between Civil War soldiers and the black soldiers today are about the same. Like the soldiers, period, they come home with PTSD and injuries, and now it's a lot of traumatic brain injuries that our soldiers come home with, and loss of limbs. So they have to deal with that. And then you come back to communities where there are no jobs, hard to get into skills. A lot of our veterans don't even realize that they have 2 free years of care if they come into the VA. If they're right out of war, you get 2 free years of care. Some of them, their PT is so bad that they don't even want to come. If you know a soldier, if you see a black soldier, just send them out here. Tell them to call. We have a great group of folks that work in admissions that know all of our benefits. Just walk in the door. We take walk-ins. We have homeless programs. We have domiciliary. We have drug and alcohol. We have everything a veteran could possibly want and need. We have it here on these grounds. I grew up on 15th Street between Locust and Hadley. So I was smack dab down in the middle of the city. There was an alderman, Vel Phillips, and she started the civil rights housing. Because Black folks couldn't go across the 16th Street Viaduct. You could barely get out of across 12th Street. So she started the housing movement in Milwaukee, and it probably took her 10, 15 years to get it passed. But that was what our civil rights was about. It was her, the commandos, Father Grappian marching across the 16th Street Viaduct. That was for housing. So black folks were allowed to move out of the inner city. All those people, prominent people that grew up in Milwaukee, Vel Phillips, Martha Turan that owned Turan, her and her husband had a bar. My mother grew up with a lot of those people. If they weren't her exact age, they grew up with her brothers and sisters, so she knew them.